friends, and welcome to the CUInsight Network. I'm Robbie Young, Vice President of Strategic Growth at CUInsight, and on this show, I have conversations with thought leaders who support the credit union community. We'll identify issues affecting credit unions and discuss best practices so that we can all learn and improve. My guest on today's show is our very own John Pettit, Managing Editor at CUInsight. John, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate you having me.
So to jump right in, most of us didn't think we were going to work with credit unions when we grew up. What did you think you were going to be when you grew up?
I guess probably second baseman for the Atlanta Braves. Obviously, that's really hard to do. So that wasn't going to happen. But yeah, I definitely didn't really know a whole lot about credit unions until I was probably out of college. And then I knew a couple people who banked with credit unions, and it kind of was on my radar a little bit more at that point. But absolutely, growing up, I would have never guessed in a million years that working with credit unions was something that I would do.
Well, for those who don't know you, you still have quite the love for baseball, so it didn't discourage you there.
No, absolutely.
So what was the journey like for you to get to your current role as managing editor at CUInsight?
Well, it was probably not the average journey that someone would take in a role like this. Actually, kind of got to my last semester of college and didn't really have a clue what I wanted to do with my life. But I'd had a friend who knew someone who was about to open a restaurant about 2 weeks after I graduated, and I needed something to do. So I went to work at a restaurant, had a great time there. I was there for about a year and a half, and I got some great recipes out of it, so that was pretty great. But after that, I moved into a role at a production facility that made scented products, and I did that for a while. Wasn't my favorite job. I also worked for a buddy who built houses for a while after that, and then I managed some retail stores, and then finally found my way to CUInsight via Twitter, of all places. A mutual friend of mine and Randy's had reposted a job posting that CUInsight put up, and I responded to that, interviewed about a week later, and I've been at CUInsight ever since. And that's been almost 12 and a half years now.
I would say that journey explains why you're so well-rounded, John.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was just going to try some different things and see what I fell in love with. And it was a great experience for sure. I think there's something I've taken from every job to the next one. So I can't complain for sure.
I love that. What do you find most rewarding about working with credit unions?
Like I said, I didn't know a whole lot about credit unions growing up. So just learning more about them and what they stand for, I think is awesome. So I love that their focus is on their people, on their members, and making their lives better. They're not looking at the bottom line. And we look at analytics here a lot. And I can tell you right now, the things they care about is the people. It's not, how do I make a bigger profit? How do I do this? It's how can we make our members' lives better and make a difference in the communities we serve?
So what would you say you're most excited for in terms of opportunities for continued growth and impact that CUInsight can make on the credit union space to support that people helping people movement?
I think what's exciting is that we have the opportunity every day to tell like real stories about real credit unions and real people they're helping. And I think it's powerful to talk about that, to look at those issues that people are facing and how credit unions come up with a solution for them. And it's kind of like that credit union has that heart for people, which is cool that we can share those stories and just highlight those every day, whether it's a press release or through our community. I really think our community section is what makes us super special, that we get to amplify those voices and use that section to help credit unions stay informed, inspired, and really just stay focused on, like you said, the people helping people part of banking. And I think it's just great that we get to help keep that focus on the people.
That's awesome. And a special shout out to a couple of the best classes ever, as we are both DEs.
That's right. June 2023.
So to wrap up the show, we like to have some fun with some rapid fire questions to really let our listeners get to know you better. The questions are rapid, but your answers certainly don't have to be. Do you think you're ready?
I am ready.
I imagine some like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music, like, as the lights.
Yeah, we'll put that in post.
Perfect. Who is someone in your life that was a great leader and what makes them great?
Oh, man. I was thinking about some of the leaders I've had and all the different jobs I've had. And honestly, I was not paid to say this, but I think we've had some great leaders here at CUInsight. Lauren Culp, obviously, who's now at the foundation, came in and she was our first CEO and really just kind of changed the culture a little bit, just helped us get on the road to where we're at now and turned us into a well-oiled machine. And I think she was just fantastic. We obviously miss her, but the cool thing is that when she left, then in came Greg Micklig, and Greg has absolutely hit the ground running. And he came in with great ideas from the jump and excited about some new things we've been doing and excited about what's going to happen in the future, because I think we've got some cool things brewing and won't talk about that yet, but it's really neat just to have somebody who has that many ideas come in and you don't really miss a beat. So that was pretty awesome.
I can confirm. So if you're going to splurge on something and really want to treat yourself, what's one thing that you might invest in a bit?
Well, I'm kind of a nerd for physical media. So I would say, I love buying vinyl. I even enjoy going to the record store and just spending like an hour in there and not even buying anything, just because it's fun to go through and see what kind of gems you can find there. Also have bought a lot of Blu-rays in my time. So I enjoy those things because I think vinyl sounds pretty awesome. And if you're going to watch a movie, obviously there's a million streaming services you could use, but I think, Blu-rays just look and sound better than streaming does. And it's hard to beat that for me. So I'm a nerd about those things, but that's probably what I'd say I like to splurge on the most.
And if anyone was looking to go up against John with any kind of movie trivia, I would put my money on John.
That's a safe bet, I think.
I'll
take challenges though.
For sure. We'll set that up. What's one book that you think everyone should read?
You know what? Every time I hear this question, I think about a book I read like 20 years ago called Ultramarathon Man by Dean Karnazes. The only reason I read it is because I was talking to a friend who was a runner, talking about, I'm trying to get into running a little bit. And he said, read this book. It'll be a good inspiration for you. And I got to admit, it really was. I'm not a lover of running. I would much rather ride a bike or something like that, but it definitely will inspire anyone who's looking for inspiration to run to get out there and lace them up and hit the road. But even if you're not looking to run, it's just a fascinating book about his life and his story behind being a runner as a high school cross country guy, running track, and then how he got out of running for a while and then what inspired him to get back into running. And then just the way he's pushed his body. And he's superhuman. There's no doubt about that. But it's inspiring and fascinating. And honestly, you can't put it down. So even if you're not looking to run, I definitely recommend checking it out because it'll be something you enjoy. It's a real page turner, as they say.
We'll be sure to link to that in the notes so everyone can take a look. It's certainly a book that you read 20 years ago and still stands out to you is worth repeating. What is your best hack for creating balance between your work life and your life life?
Well, I have a home office here at the house. Obviously, we're a remote company. So for me, it's like when that light comes on in the morning, and I have automated lights all over my house. So I've got them all programmed. So when that light comes on in the morning, that's kind of when I head to the office and kind of start my morning. And so normally I set up shop in here all day. And, once I've left the office and the lights go out, that kind of symbolizes for me that the day is over. And then I kind of focus on, non-work stuff after that. But for me, that helps a lot. Just knowing it's almost like a taxi when the light comes on and goes off. When the light's on, I'm in service. And then when the light goes off, it's time to shift focus. So that's helped me. I have a great office at my house. It's just comfortable and a lot of natural light. I think finding somewhere where you don't feel like you got to get up and move around a ton. And I do walk my dog a couple times a day too. So that definitely helps as well. But I think having a comfy home office and just having some place you like to be definitely helps.
Maybe we could get you some bar stools in there so you could put those up at the end of the night too.
Oh, there you go.
So like I mentioned, we'll be sure to link to everything we talked about today in the show notes. But my last question for you would be, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share or asks of our listeners?
Yeah. Again, I'd say just remember that telling your story, it matters. The work you do every day matters. Telling those stories about helping people buy their first home or get out of debt, those things matter. And when you share those stories, you're marketing your credit union, but you're also marketing credit unions, the movement of credit unions. I think that's a great reminder of why credit unions exist and what makes them so much different than just every bank down the road. So don't be shy about it. I would say keep telling your stories. Literally every time you tell those stories, someone's going to be inspired by what you're doing and someone's going to believe in credit unions.
Well, thank you again, John, for being on the show. And thanks to all of our listeners today for tuning into the CUInsight Network. We'll be back again next time.